You know, in my experience, there are some groups that are, well, we've already mentioned it. There's kind of a religious group that is looking for different educational model. There's the creatives, the, folks who've kind of woken up to realities of school. But then there's some groups like African-American families, sometimes Latino communities that feel like they have just been dismissed for generations in some cases. And they're looking for something else. Oftentimes, though, of course, they may not have the financial resources. Can you give me a sense of what you're seeing from African-American families, particularly families with boys, that are saying, you know what, this traditional school is not only not working, but it's actually actively injuring my boy? Do you have any experience with that? Do you have any sense of how that's
I'd say
playing out?
Like the piece that I think is hard on my end is that so many of those families, they seem to be wed to a belief that it's because the school I have is bad. And we get too many of people who moved into Chicago to be in the best neighborhood school.
Right.
And then find out like, oh, this is the best that there is. And then they realize like that it's broken. And right. I feel like people coming from less well-off neighborhoods feel that it's more about their neighborhood school, not the system. Yeah. And that it's everybody else is getting a better version of the system. And I think that's true. Why you see like money more correlated with test scores and other things, because it's not the system. It's what those families augment the system with. That's right.
And yes, so for you're saying, so for a lot of families, they're looking across town and seeing a quote unquote better school and saying, why can't we have that? But the families in the know are saying that better school isn't better. It just may have nicer walls or nicer track or nicer football stadium. But what's happening inside is not any better in preparing a kid for adult life. Yeah, that's a real good point. And I think if we could figure out how to communicate differently or help those families understand.
Yeah, and maybe I'll get in some hot water here, because sometimes I haven't been around people very often during this. Like, this is like weird, right?
Jump in the hot water. Jump in.
No, I think all the focus and money and effort we put into the achievement gap is misplaced. Because it is about like getting people from here to here when we should be aiming for here. And so like, it reminds me of what happened in Africa when phone lines came through. They're like, phone lines, let's just do cell towers. That's just ridiculous.
Why do I need that?
And just leapfrog the technology, right? And I feel like as long as we're trying to get everybody up to mediocre, we're never going to leapfrog into what it could be for everybody. And how to do that at a bigger scale, I think, is a challenging piece. And that money piece it's a real thing, right?